After 5 years, I have finally decided to use my following for good, and I landed myself a chatting session with Ashley Hollis, the winner of Big Brother 27. Ashley and I sat down and talked about her game for an hour, with the purpose behind it being to help me out while creating my winner video on her. Initially, we were intending to run through the season chronologically, but we quickly found out that we were smoothly transitioning from moment to moment without them necessarily being in order. So we scrapped the week by week thing, and instead just leapfrogged from topic to topic, and it felt a lot more right. Before we dive in, I do want to clarify a couple of things. Firstly, this is not a deep dive. Ashley has already done one major deep dive and a bunch of other interviews, and I wasn't trying to retread on that same ground. Instead, this is more of a Q&A session, where I was looking to hear about her inner thoughts and intentions regarding specific big moments for her in the game that the episodes and even live feeds didn't necessarily cover. This was to help me have a better understanding of her thought processes and her motivations for when I'm working on the video. The second thing I wanted to clarify is that I am primarily a YouTuber, not an interviewer. This is a relatively new thing for me that I've only done like 2 other times throughout my YouTube career. And I have so much to learn when it comes to interviews like this. So keep that in mind and try to go easy on me. I tried my best and I had a great time talking with Ashley, and I'm hopeful that you can find some enjoyment out of this too. And the last thing I wanted to say was that initially, this was going to be a YouTube member / Patreon exclusive interview, but this ended up being something that I wanted to share with everyone, so I made it public instead. Because of that though, let's aim for 100,000 likes on this video. Just kidding. No need to like or subscribe today. Consider this a big thank you for all of the support you gave me this season. Okay, now, without further ado, let's get into the interview. Hello everyone, and welcome to one of the best interviews I've ever had the pleasure of doing before. Today, I am with the winner of Big Brother 27, Ashley Hollis. Ashley, how are you doing today?
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm doing really good. I'm still a little bit in shock. It hasn't quite set in yet, but I'm doing great. Yeah, I'm really excited about the future and all of the opportunities that could come. I'm so grateful for the fans. They literally make the show what it is. So I'm really appreciative.
Yeah, I hope your fan reception has been, I've seen a lot of it on Twitter and it seems extremely positive,
Yeah.
but I'm hoping that is the vibe you are getting from your reception.
Yes, absolutely. I'm getting I would say 90+% positive. Obviously, there's a few like haters in there, but
There's
like
always going to be.
if I had no haters, I'm dead. You know what I mean? Like
Exactly.
you gotta have some haters.
Well, the main reason that I'm very happy that we could get this done is because, as you know, the episodes may not have featured you as much as they should have.
Yeah, for sure.
And I know I mentioned it to you very briefly, but I make YouTube videos that will detail how each Big Brother winner won their season. And usually there's a good amount of stuff on the episodes that can help me tell that story.
Yeah.
However, I do think there are some holes that need to be filled in, and there is no better person to fill those holes than you. So today I've just got some questions. I know you've been doing deep dives. I know you've been doing a lot of interviews. I will try not to do that exact same thing.
Okay.
We'll still go chronologically, but just as a little icebreaker, I know you've liked when there's been little clip segments. So I have a few clips where it's someone talking about you, and I want you to guess who said it.
Oh, I like that. Okay.
All right, let's start with this one. I'll give you the week. This came from week 5. And the quote is, Ashley, I love her, but she is a chatty Cathy, and frankly, I just don't trust her. So she's got to go.
Oh, that definitely sounds like Ava. The frankly, that sounds like Ava. Is that Ava?
Did I give it away? Let's find out.
The frankly.
I love her, but she is a chatty Cathy, and I frankly just don't trust her. So she's got to go.
All right, I'll have to do better.
I don't even remember what week that is. What week was that?
That was week 5. That was right after she won the HOH.
Oh.
And when she was talking with Mickey about potentially nominating you.
Yes.
But Mickey had your back.
Okay, yes. Okay, I've heard about this week. Okay, yeah. The frankly made me think it was Ava. Yeah, Ava was wilding the first few weeks. That was a completely one-sided beef that she had with me. I had no problems with Ava. I mean, I obviously knew she was very close with Will, so I knew we weren't in each other's top three, I would say, because she was not in my top three people. But yeah, that was a one-sided beef that surprised me coming out of the show.
Yeah, definitely Ava had some one-sided beefs that didn't always have the greatest explanations as to why, but
Yeah.
it all worked out. And we'll touch upon some of this stuff later.
Okay.
All right, I got two more. We'll only do three. So this next one came in week 8, and it says, "I'm telling you, Ashley, if you want my face on the wall, you actually have to win."
Ooh, Vince.
Okay, that's a good guess. I got to find where it is now.
Ashley, if you want my face on the wall, you actually have to win.
We don't have to play nice anymore.
Keanu. Okay.
It was immediately after the yep.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, Keanu.
I just rewatched that in preparation of this, and it's probably one of my favorite moments from the season. It's just such a fun back and forth that again, we'll get into it, but it is crazy to me that after that, you and Keanu are working together the very next week.
I know. It's so funny. I mean, listen, I had tried to work with him multiple times during the season. I love you, Keanu, but he was just one of the most delulu people in the house where he just wasn't picking up what I was putting down. I mean, I would straight up tell him things that were actual fact, and he'd be like, no. But
it was definitely frustrating to watch from our side because he would get peppered with the truth all the time. And he'd be like, I'm going to trust Vince.
Right. He'd be like, nope, Vince is my guy. I'm like,
And for this last one, this one is a funny one. But it is just, Ashley just looks like a disaster. Poor Ashley.
I look like a disaster. Never. I don't even know who that would be. I don't know. I actually don't know that one.
All right.
You saying I have to guess? You
can guess whoever. This is a funny moment that I hope you will laugh once you see the context of it. It is not ill-spirited in the slightest.
Maybe Jimmy? I don't know. I really don't know. That's a hard
answer.
Looks like a disaster.
Oh, that's
Ashley.
funny.
So under like this. A for effort. A for Ashley.
Oh, that's hilarious. I really did look like a disaster. Oh my gosh.
That was like one of the first segments you got. I think this was week 3. So it wasn't like the first segment you got. There was all of like the week 1 stuff, but that was like one of the more fun segments.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I remember that. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, I hope this doesn't make the show.
It made the show.
Oh my God, it made the show. So I know I still haven't watched it. I've only watched the first 2 episodes, the finale, and then like the start of episode 3. So I'm not very far. I haven't had time to watch anything.
Yeah, I mean, you've been pretty busy. You did just get out of the house.
Yeah.
A week and a half ago.
Literally. It's crazy.
It is crazy. I'm sure it's been like a shock coming out. But
definitely. I mean, you don't know how you're perceived when you're in the house because you don't have a phone. You just have like really no idea. So we all came out just being like, I hope we're liked. We don't have to be loved, but I hope we're liked. But I feel like it's love. Thank God. Oh my gosh. So yeah. That's nice.
No, definitely a lot of love coming your way. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, that was literally just a little fun thing I wanted to do, just to be able to show some clips.
Yes.
Now we can get into the actual meat and potatoes of this. But it's mostly going to be me asking your insights, asking for your insights and your thoughts about specific people, specific moments, that sort of thing. All right. So starts week 1. You walk into the house. I want to know your first impressions. Like, who did you immediately get a good vibe from? Who did you not necessarily get a good vibe from? Just, first thoughts.
Yes. So first impressions. Loved Amy. We just vibed immediately. I think people saw that probably on TV. We just had an immediate connection and chemistry. I actually really vibed with Jimmy at first, which is probably why you see me get picked for the HOH. Even though I told him I didn't really want to be picked for it, but he still picked me because he trusted me and we just had like a great vibe up front. I would say, thinking of all the house members. Okay, Jimmy, Amy for sure. Actually, Mickey, I will give her that. I got a really good vibe of her at first. After that, but I will give her at first. I got a good impression. She expressed very early on that she wanted to work with me. So probably these three. And actually, you know what? I'll give credit where credit is due, since I'm a very honest and straight shooter. Zach, actually. Obviously, you see that relationship go downhill. But Zach was someone I got a good impression off of at first. So those are probably the first four. And then I guess I would throw in Rachel, but me and Rachel didn't get closer until after like week 2, which I'm sure you guys saw on the show. I didn't fully trust her at first just because she was withholding so much information from me. And she was obviously always closer with Amy. I knew that was her number one. So yeah, but I would still give her, I got a great, she's very sweet and bubbly and fun. So those 5 are probably the people I got the best first impressions from.
Yeah, and I think that totally checks out with what we see. You're aligned with Amy. I know you were aligned with Jimmy, sort of, but I also know you didn't trust Jimmy after like day 2.
No, I didn't.
And then obviously Rachel and Zach is someone that's like in and out of the Ashley bubble, as I would like to think about it, where there were times where you wanted to work with him. There were times you didn't want to work with him.
Yeah. But those are my initial first impressions, like first day.
Well, I know.
I liked Lauren. I liked Lauren as well. The first
Lauren
day.
too.
I liked Lauren, yeah. Not that I don't like Lauren, I like Lauren, but as far as first day, we obviously kind of like after the first week, we just weren't close. Not in a bad way. We just never, I feel like we just gravitated towards opposite sides of the house. But she was another person in my first impressions bucket that I was like, oh, we have so much in common. I really like this person.
Well, I would be remiss if I did not bring up the shower incident, which it was crazy because we didn't see it on the feed. So when we first saw it on the episodes, we were like, oh my God, did she actually take a 2-hour shower?
No. But as Julie Chen has cleared up for me, thank you, Julie Chen. Shout out Julie Chen. It was literally probably like max 30 minutes. But we talked for like an hour and a half or more. Game stuff, working together, all of that, which if I could go back in time, I would not do, clearly, because he could not be trusted. But yeah.
Yeah, it's a really unfortunate like 1-2 punch because you're up there with Vince. Everyone downstairs is like, oh my God, is she still up there? We see Catherine brings it up with you a couple of times. And this is kind of like, I guess we can just talk about Catherine real quick, an overarching theme where we also see in week 3, week 4, during the overthrow process.
Yes.
I think you come back down after talking with Riley, and I guess your smile is just a little bit too big because Catherine calls you out. So what was going on with Catherine and you?
Oh my gosh. Okay. The craziest thing is I truly went downstairs. Like, I don't know if people actually know, people have saw this because I've commented this on my life. I was just a happy person in the house. Like, I am a very mentally stable individual. And I recognized from the get-go that, this was just a game, like that is how I saw it. I came in, maybe it's because I had like a successful career outside of the show. I don't really know why some people took it so serious and like this is like, I obviously took the game serious. Obviously, clearly I wouldn't have won if I didn't take the game serious, but I also recognize it's just a game. Like, this is not reality. This is not real life. And so I think I just came down and I just remember thinking, I was just in a good mood. I was like, this is great. He definitely believed me. I fooled him. I tricked him. Like, he's definitely going to pick me. I'm going to be safe for the week. Cause obviously I was not going to be safe on Riley's block. For sure. I knew I was going up, but it wasn't that I was happy that he was getting his HOH. I actually genuinely felt so bad, but not that bad. Cause I was like, I ain't going home this week now.
How are you going to be like, you can only feel so bad. You were going to go on the block otherwise.
For sure. And I could have potentially gone home. So it's like, I definitely, but it wasn't because of him, but I'm just walking. I'm literally just smiling. I always was smiling throughout the house, which even the live feeders commented, like I had a very good energy and outlook and perspective on the game. I was always in a decent mood. Besides when I was exhausted, but other than that, I was in a great mood. So I remember I sat down and I remember just like looking around, and then she kind of threatened me, like, you're looking too happy, da, da, da. And I'm like, that's just my face. Like, I genuinely wasn't even I'm like, girl, I wasn't even thinking about you. Like, you were not even in the equation. Like, what is going on? And I just remember thinking, I have to bite my tongue though, because I do not want to. I feel like I had done a really good job at eliminating my threat level at that point. This was week 4. Yeah. Week 4, I wasn't like a huge target anymore. There were other bigger targets in the house, like Keanu, Kelly, Jimmy, Vinny, even.
The Vinny too.
Point. Yeah. And so even Morgan was becoming a target because Jimmy started coming for Morgan, and obviously Keanu had already been coming for Morgan. So there was like, I was doing okay. I was still a threat. I'm not, naive to that. Like I knew people would want me up because I'm an easy person to get up and sit home. But I was like, I'm doing a good job. So I just have to be calm. I remember I wanted to pop up. I did. I wanted to give it right back to her because that is my personality, as people can see. Like, I do not take disrespect from anyone in my real life. Like, I'm not necessarily just going to go off. I'm not the type of person to like raise my voice, as people saw in my Keanu speech or clap back. I stayed at this level the whole time. When I was talking to him, I called him Tarzan feet at this monotone. So like, like I'm not like an aggressive person by any means, but I will say my piece. Like that's the type of person I am. I speak my mind, and I wanted to speak my mind in that moment. But I just remember thinking, I don't want to be a target. I'm doing an okay job. Let me just laugh it off because then she'll look bad and I'll look great. And Rachel ended up doing it for me. So
right there, you just brought up actually, there are 2 things I wanted to say. One, with the smiling all the time, I think that played a factor in a lot of like people's opinions of you, because there were multiple times where players would be like, she feels too comfortable. She might have the power, which played into the reason that Riley and Keanu thought you had the power instead of Mickey. Right. But I also feel like it helped lower your threat level because it made other people, how do I say this? Like someone like Vince was crying all the time. He was a little, he was very stressed out. That's because he was thinking about the game a lot, but you were just like smiling all the time. And I feel like that had an influence where people are like, oh, she's kind of just like in her own Ashley world. We don't have to worry about her. All the while you were playing very smart and methodically. But that was just something I noticed right now and I wanted to point out.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think I genuinely, just like I said, I came into the experience being like, this is an amazing experience, amazing opportunity. I would love to win the show. I'm gunning to win the show. Like I am, working hard. I'm planting seeds. I'm doing everything I need to do in behind the scenes to try to win the show. But it's just a show. I mean, as you saw, Vinny having emotional reactions. He wasn't the only one. To be honest, there's quite a few people. Obviously, Amy was someone who was extremely emotional early on. Mickey had a couple of crying spats. Like a lot of people I feel like this game was like their life. And I feel like that's what also led to their downfall in the game, because they were always thinking they already saw themselves in the final 2 chairs. And something about me, I was very methodological. I was definitely someone who was always thinking about what's happening now, but also how that's going to affect me in the next few weeks. But I was never playing for final 2, week 4 or 5 or 6. That's just not appropriate to me, because there's a lot of things that have to happen in order for you to get to those final 2 chairs. And I think ultimately that was the downfall of players like, love Jimmy, but Jimmy, Mickey, even I want to say Keanu. I love Keanu, but I feel like that was also his problem. He already saw himself winning the game. I mean, he talked a lot in the house, which I'm sure you guys saw, about being the first 2-time winner of Big Brother. You got to win it first in order to
You got to win the first time.
You got to win it first. And so I think as strong of a player as he was making moves that weren't helping him in the future. And so he kind of, even that speech he gave that one week, I think it was like week 2 or 3, where he was like, I'm going to pick you all up one by one. That ended up backfiring against him, because his own allies started to not trust him and turn against him, because they were like, what the heck, man? Like, you're going to pick me up? Like, and I think Keanu truly could have won this game had he put a little more trust in people other than Vince. And I think if he didn't think so far ahead, I think if he thought week to week and really just saw how are the things, it was a little bit more intentional about his moves and like the things he says and the people he aligned with, because Rachel would have been an amazing person for him to work with and trust early on. She told him a lot of things that were very valuable to his game, but he just didn't believe her. He believed Vince and Fred or other people or the Rileys who were still gunning for, and I think he could have won this game had he just played a little bit more like my mindset, which is like week to week, thinking a few weeks ahead and how the moves you're going to make now affect it, but not already seeing yourself at the end, because you got to get there.
Exactly.
That was a couple of players' downfall in the game.
I definitely would agree, especially with Keanu. And speaking of Keanu, we've actually already brought up both of or two of your little conflicts with Keanu. The
Yeah.
first one happening right after he makes that I'm going to pick you all off one by one speech,
Yeah.
where afterwards in the kitchen,
Oh, they showed up.
you kind of stir the pot a little bit. You kind of prod the bear with a stick.
Yeah.
Was that just trying to cause more chaos? Were you just intentionally being messy
Mhm.
to put more targets in the house? Can you
Yeah.
explain your thought process?
I was definitely intentionally being messy because at that point, I think this was with 2 or 3, I
Mhm.
was still a target. I wouldn't say
Yeah.
I eliminated my threat level completely until probably like week 5. I'm trying to think who was HOH 5. Ava. So right after when Ava didn't put me up, because I know I was a threat level to her, but at the end of the day, she didn't put me up. And I
Mhm.
think that helped show the house, like by her targeting the guys, it shifted the threat away from me and onto them. And I think that's how it went the entire rest of the game. And so I think that fight and a lot of things that I think it's funny. People be like, she's so messy. She was telling Zach things about Morgan. Like what you guys don't realize is that those points, that point and this point in the kitchen fight, I was still a target. I had nothing to lose
Yep.
but to try to put other targets on people's back. And so I knew that if I stirred up this drama with Keanu will be target number 1, enemy number 1. And if people are looking at him, they're not looking at me. Like they're looking at him because something about the house is they usually would put people up who are connected to other people. At that time, I was not connected to Keanu. So Keanu was more likely to be on the block next to people like Kelly or Adrian, people who are
Mm.
more connected than myself. So I felt like if I shifted the target onto him, not only would the target be onto him, but it would be on his people too to fill up those block spots. So I did not care if I was messy. Oh, and then I also felt like it would build my loyalty to Jimmy. I felt that if Jimmy saw
That's a
and
good point.
defending him, then it would pull him in as a number as well. And so even though I didn't fully trust him, I wanted him to trust me. I wanted him to see like I'm ride or die for you. And so and I remember it worked because he was like, "Thank you so much for defending me after." And so I think not only was I trying to shift the target on Keanu, the other 3 people that he was connected with, Kelly, Adrian, and then also trying to build trust with people like Jimmy. Because at the time Jimmy was gunning for Keanu.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, we saw that a lot in the beginning. Um, in this beginning part of the game, I feel like your position in the house, it was very mobile. Like
Yeah.
you were not locked in where, you had Amy and kind of Rachel in the beginning, but then Amy leaves. And I know you have a connection with Will. But like at what point did it really solidify for you that you were like, this is my place in the house. These are my people.
I would say week 3 going into week 4. I would say actually Amy left as much as I love her to death. And I wish she could have stayed. I truly do. I truly did want to play the game with her. It was actually really great for my game because people started seeing me as this lone wolf. And I used that as a kind of a situation where I could attach myself to people. So you see me try to attach to Will and Ava. You see me try to attach to Morgan and Mickey. And it worked. I mean, it did work because obviously they were influential in me not being on the block week 3 on Lauren's HOH. So that work that I put in week 2 with Morgan and Mickey really paid off when it came to week 3 because obviously Lauren was considering me as a nom/renom. But I was able to have those people that I built those relationships with, especially week 2. Once I realized that Amy was on the block again, I knew that even if she had stayed that week and won the blockbuster and a miracle happened, she was going to remain a target in the house because she now up 2 weeks in a row, she's an easy nom. Everybody's going to go for an easy nom because people are playing scared because quite frankly, 3-person block with a blockbuster, that's scary. Like
That is scary.
2 champions to come off. So you see people playing a lot more scared than you usually see in a Big Brother season of just 2 nominees. And so I used that week that Amy was on the block that second week to really build my connections because I knew even if she stayed, I was potentially going to be in trouble the next week because especially if she stayed, because they would just throw us on the block together. We were a strong duo.
Like you said, they nominate people that are connected to each other.
Exactly. So I worked on those relationships week 2 going into week 3 and it paid off because obviously I was influential myself with getting myself on the block, but I will give credit to Morgan and Mickey as well. They really were instrumental also in me not going up on that block against Lauren. And then I think you also see me kind of relying on those relationships to kind of try to flip Vinny. I knew I never wanted to work with Vinny, but at that time, he had power in the house. He had Lauren's ear completely. He obviously had Keanu. He was starting to build a relationship with Riley. He had some type of relationship with Adrian. He was like all spread through. Zach, he had a lot of people. And so I remember there was this scene where I was in the wine room. I don't think they showed this on TV, but I just remember this happening. I remember thinking, okay, people are associating Vinny with Lauren. And so since they're associating Vinny with Lauren, if I can somehow pin this on if I go up, it's because of you, and use this kind of scare tactic, then okay, now maybe he won't fight for me to stay, or fight for me to not go up, but he'll at least not fight for me to go up, because I got the sense that Vinny is someone who is a people pleaser. He's someone who is worried about.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, like I noticed very early on, he's a people pleaser. Just by him putting me up is a people pleasing move that first week, because he knew that the shower was in 2 hours.
And you also had an agreement with him, and he had no problem going back on that.
Exactly. So I knew the type of guy he was from week 1. And so I tried to use reverse psychology on him by being like, like people are associating you and Lauren. Like if I go up, I think I said the opposite. I think I said, if I don't go up.
Yeah, that made it a positive, which I wanted to say. That was beautiful wording, because instead of pinning it on him, being like, it's your fault if I go up, you uplift him and being like, I have you to thank if I don't go up. And that positive reinforcement goes such a long way. And I don't think people realize how drastically important that difference is.
Absolutely. Yeah. I learned that. I took psych actually my freshman year of college, and sociology. And so one of the things I know is that threatening people is never going to work, because it actually turns people off and it pushes them away. It makes them want to do whatever you're saying not to do. Mm-hmm. But if you can flip it and make people not only feel comfortable in how you're approaching it and how you're pitching it, and try to save some goodwill, try to bond over that. Like, okay, if I don't go up, I know it was because of you. And if that's true, I owe you, I will work for you in this game, So you need to start thinking about the people you're surrounding yourself with, Vinny. Like you're surrounding yourself with very strong players, the Morgans, the Zachs, people with great social game. Someone like me, silly old me, I'm not a strong player. Old me. I'm someone that you should want to take further, because not only will you stay over me, which at the time was true, he would stay over me, but I'm also someone who, if you want to take further, you can beat me. I'm not strong at the competitions. I'm not a threat. And so I tried to do that week. And so I think all of those things early on are what culminated me being safe that week and then going into week 4.
I don't want you to sell yourself short. There are 2 instances right here that apply to what we were just talking about, where with Lauren, I 100% think that Lauren nominates you if you didn't do all of your own single work one-on-one with her. It was really fun to watch, because you could see how uncomfortable Lauren was, how badly she just wanted you to just accept going up on the block with a smile. And you're just standing right there, not afraid to have these uncomfortable moments, being like, oh yeah, there is an easy option. Yeah, you wouldn't put me on the block though, would you?
Right.
And kind of just staying until you get your way.
Yes, someone who probably demonstrated throughout the game, probably not on the TV show, but at least to the live feeders. I was someone who I was not leaving that room until I felt like I had done the job. Like if the job wasn't finished, I wasn't leaving. I mean, I think people even saw that with Mickey the end of week 4.
That was the other thing, Mickey, and that directly saves you from Ava.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I was someone who I am not leaving this room until I feel like we are good and I have accomplished my mission. And I remember with Lauren, I went in, I obviously knew she was heavily considering me, but I was like, again, a moment I was trying to use reverse psychology. I'm like, I mean, you're not thinking of putting me up, right? Like that would be crazy. That'd be crazy. That wouldn't even make sense. I'm not coming for you, which at the time, honestly, wasn't a lie. I wasn't coming for Lauren. Like it wasn't till maybe a week or 2 later that I was like, Lauren is a threat. But at that moment, I wasn't coming for Lauren. And so I remember I was like, I know that she's an emotional person. I'm gonna have to pull out some tears. I'm gonna have to pull out some fake tears. I'm gonna have to pull out some acting because that's what Adrian's probably doing. So I gotta pull up some acting. I gotta practice. I remember before I went in, I was like, let me get sad. Let me get like into my
wait, let me see if I can pull this up real quick. Oh, is it this? It might take
Off the block. Worst case scenario.
It might take a second to
I
get
feel
there.
like the house would love if Ashley was out here.
Keanu does make a good point.
Now's the scary part.
She gonna put you up, my little mama.
I think anybody would think
Yeah, it'll get to you now.
putting Ashley up. Ashley might be coming after my close ally in Vince, and so she might as well be coming for me as well. I know, Ashley.
I mean, I don't want to put anybody up.
I know. I feel like there's an easy thing to do.
There is, yeah.
And that's what I'm gonna do. It just sucks.
It's hard.
People have been saying you
Would honestly be very hurt if you put me up.
I know.
And you know I'm never coming for you.
Yeah.
Are you really considering putting me up?
I also just don't want to piss off the rest of the house.
A lot of people want Adrian on the block. Overwhelming majority want Adrian on the block than me.
Mm-hmm. Would you say that you would not put me up before?
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
Okay. I mean, yeah, it is hard to say.
And at that point, now it's just her being like, okay, like, yeah, I'm probably gonna nominate Adrian, but I just love you bringing up the tears, and we got to see it right there.
Yeah, I definitely was like, I gotta just pull it out because if she feels really bad, she won't put me up. Not only that, I need her to see that I'm not the easier option. Adrian's the easier option. He's already been up. He's already, you know what I'm saying? Like, people want him to go up. Trust me, this is the least blood on your hands. If I go up, do you know how many numbers I have? You know, like that's not, you want to do what's easy. This is chess, not checkers. You need to play, you need to play smart. And I really tried to get her to see that, like, putting me up is not smart for your game. Now, I had no idea that she was in alliance with Adrian, which that makes so much more sense as to why she was so hesitant.
But she still put him up, which is like, I can't believe you didn't go up on the block that week.
I can't believe I didn't go on the block either, and I was super happy. Because honestly, that week I would have gone home because Will was on the block.
Yeah.
I would have gone home. Will. Yeah. I don't remember who else was on the block. Will and
Kelly. Yeah, Kelly won the blockbuster.
She won the blockbuster, and I probably wasn't beating her. So it probably would have been me versus Will.
She would. Yeah, the way that blockbuster worked out, she was almost perfect. So you would have had to have a perfect answer to have survived that.
To survive, yeah. So I was definitely going home next to Will. Now, if I could have won the blockbuster of Will, which obviously he didn't even come close. Love you, Will. I think he gets 20 something or something.
He gets a little far off.
Yeah. Like next to Will, I was going home unanimously. So I'm so glad that didn't happen. And I remember just pitching to her. I was like, if you put me up, I'm going home. You're sending me home. What a weak HOH to send me home. Adrian's a competition beast. He's almost won several competitions. I'm like, he's not. But I'm like, he's almost won. Like, look at how many competitions he almost won. Look at the first HOH. I wasn't even close. He was super close to winning the BB Blaster. Like, and yeah, just trying to lower my threat level. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh. And that was like changed the trajectory of my game, I would say, because had I gone up that week, it would have set the precedent. Ashley is the easy nom. She can go up. This is easy. And I think not going up that week really helped me. Now, obviously, Mickey, I wouldn't have gone up on Mickey's HOH the next week. But Ava, that could have been an easy excuse for her to put me up.
Mm-hmm.
You're easy now.
Yeah, I am very excited to dive deeper into that week because I really cannot stress how important that was for you to not go outside of the obvious fact that you would have just gone home had you not won the blockbuster.
Yeah.
But the domino effect that has of like, okay, this is her second time on the block in 3 weeks. Now you become a perpetual pawn. Yep. Not the spot you want to be in.
No, definitely not.
Yeah. All right. So I know you've got limited time, so I'm only going to hit with the big questions.
Okay.
And I would love to hear your role in forming the judges because the show, no surprise here. I don't know if you're featured a little bit in the formation of the judges, but not to the extent that you actually were.
Okay.
So I would love to hear like how it starts, like if you're in the wine room with Will discussing with him.
Yes. So I remember this, my brain actually started ticking about this probably at the end of week 5, towards then, because Morgan sits me down and she has a conversation with me and we start opening up about Mickey. And we kind of just are going back and forth with the Mickey lies. And we realize, oh my gosh, she's been playing us. She's been pitting us against each other. And I remember she told me a piece of information about Will. She basically told me that Mickey had said that Will tells her everything and Will has shared or mocked Morgan's personal stories. And I was like, ooh. I was already not trusting Mickey because of how she went about her HOH. I did not trust her. I mean, it didn't make sense for her game to put Jimmy up, so I was mad about that. But not only that, she didn't really consult me that much in her nominations and stuff. Like, she tried one time to consult me, but there was several times she actually kicked me out of her HOH room. Like, I remember she was talking to Rachel, and she was like, I'm sorry, I'm trying to have a one-on-one. I'm like, with Rachel? Rachel's going to tell me everything.
Yeah.
Point. I didn't get it. It felt like she was trying to purposely like carve out a way to get Ashley, you know what I'm saying? Get her side and steal her relationships. That's what it felt like. So I was already rubbed the wrong way about that. And then I was rubbed the wrong way about that scene with us in the HOH where I'm basically telling her, Jimmy can win the blockbuster. Like, you know, this isn't like the best move in my opinion. I'm just being real, keeping it real. And she comes at me basically and is like, I don't have any more powers to save you, Bookie. Like, if you want to side with the other side of the house, you could go home or something crazy like that. And I remember being like, I do not like the way she talked to me, one. And two, I don't trust her. I don't trust her. You didn't consult me. Not that you have to consult me, but we were working very closely together at that point. And she spent a long time consulting Morgan, Vince, and Zach. So I just felt like clearly you want to roll with Morgan, Vince, and Zach in that 4-pack, then you want to roll with me. Didn't trust her. So basically, once Morgan tells me this information about Will, I'm already ready to flip the vote. Like, I'm already ready, like, okay, that week, because it was like Zach, Vince, and somebody else. And so
Keanu,
right. And so I remember thinking, this is when she's on the block.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I want to flip this vote. And so I remember that information. I told Will about what Morgan had told me to try to flip Will, because I knew Will was like a ride or die for Mickey. And so I'm like, how can I flip him? Like, he's not going to take just the logical route, because as you saw with his vote with Zach, he really voted off of, you know, emotion, his personal relationships. And so since I saw that happen with Zach, I was like, the only way I can flip him with Mickey is if I turn him against Mickey with true information, because I would have never liked Will, not like that. So I used that information to my benefit, told him, Mickey's been saying this about you. Like, see, Mickey got to go. Like, Morgan is, you know, more trustworthy. And he was livid. And so then he flipped to being 50-50 between Morgan and Mickey. So then I'm like, okay, I've already kind of like got him, you know, a little bit more on the Morgan side.
You've moved the crosshairs over.
I moved the crosshairs a bit. And so I remember sitting down and when I heard that the veto was going to get used, I started realizing, you know what? It's my best case scenario if this veto is used. Because even if it's on Vinny, because I wanted Vinny to go home that week. I did. I'm not going to lie. I wanted Vinny to go home.
I did too.
Yeah. But I was like, you know what? Since it seems like this veto could potentially get used, I started thinking numbers wise. Well, if the veto gets used on Vinny, Morgan's way more valuable than Mickey, because then we can have Vinny and Morgan. That's two. Because me and Morgan had already been building after the end of week 5, and it just shot up after Zach left. And so I'm like, you know what? They're down a number. First, I was thinking I could be that number. I could be in that 3. But then I'm like, what's more powerful than 3? 5 or 6? I was
5 or 6.
I was like, because the way the numbers were that week, I think we were at 14 or 13. So I'm like, okay, if we can have 5 or 6, we can control the vote the next week. And so I remember telling Will, I pulled Will and I was like, listen, if Vince, you know, this veto is getting used, like, and I don't know, I don't remember. It either was just used or was about to be used. I'm like, I can't remember which one, because
I don't remember which one either.
6 weeks ago or more at this point.
Yeah.
It was one of the two. The veto was either just used or was about to be used. And I remember thinking, listen, we got to think about this. Like, but I remember thinking, I don't want to pitch too hard that we have to evict Mickey. Because at that time, him and Mickey were still, you know,
so smart. Yeah, you build another reason.
I build another reason. And so I'm like, listen, Will is someone who's going to think about the logic. If I tell him and I push too hard about my own agenda and he doesn't feel like he's part of that agenda too, then he's not going to do what I need him to do. I'm like, love Will. But I knew he loved Mickey on a personal level. He really saw her in the game as like his third daughter, you know? And so I remember thinking, okay, if I just show the logic and go step by step, like if Vince stays, Vince is staying. Morgan is more valuable because Morgan and Vince are a duo. They're a powerful duo. Not only that, they're going to be a bigger target because at the time, Ava and Will were a duo and me and Rachel were a duo.
Mm-hmm.
So not only are they a shield, but if we can merge all of these people together, we can protect Rachel because Vince was coming for Rachel. Protect me because I would have been on the block next to Rachel. I wouldn't have gone home, but I would have been, the pawn of the situation. Yep. And not only that, we can have real numbers in the game. We've screwed up this week by putting our own allies on the block. We've messed up, Rachel, we got to save this week. If Riley goes up, okay.
Oh my God. I thank you so much for pushing that. That was, I don't know if I've had a more exciting night of watching than that all transpired. I'm getting off topic though. Please continue.
No, I basically done it. It was basically just like getting him to see the logic. If we have numbers, if we have them, then we have me and you. And then obviously implying we have Rachel because me, Rachel, Will, and Ava kind of have like a foursome like deal going on. And I made sure I was like, I just remember thinking, I don't want Ava to be in it because I love Ava, but Ava and Will are extremely close. And now if something ever happens and I'm, and I need to pull out information, I'm like, Ava, you're not even in this alliance. Right? Like if I ever had to turn Ava and Will against each other, which I wouldn't have done that unless my back was absolutely against the wall. But I'm like, this can also show, like, look, he's in an alliance without you, girl. Like,
and he didn't tell you.
And he didn't tell you. Like, y'all are clearly not as close as you think. I was gonna save that nugget for later if I absolutely needed it. But I'm not a dirty player, so I was like,
that's smart. You're leaving your options open for the future.
But I'm leaving my options open for the future. And then that's kind of how the thing created. We were like, I think he was like, let's go talk to Rachel. And I'm thinking, this is exactly what I wanted because something I said going into the game, I never wanted to be the head of the snake. I never wanted to be the person outwardly making the moves for creating an alliance or creating these targets because that person goes first, always. And so I was trying to bait people throughout the season into doing the things that I wanted because that way nobody's ever going to be looking at me. They're going to be looking at them. And so that conversation just completely worked out exactly the way I wanted to. We went up to Rachel's room. I explained to her that, and then it all worked out. Granted, it took some pushing. In the backyard. Once I realized the veto might be used by trying to use reverse psychology on Lauren too.
Yeah, you did push for that, which again, thank you. That was a very exciting, even though like I wanted Vince to go home, I wanted Riley to go home way more. And once I knew that was an option, I was like, okay, Vince, you can stay as long as you need to, buddy. Right. Let's get this going.
Absolutely. And so that was a lot of the things I did throughout the game. And you see that happen with the Rachel thing. Like I wanted to throw darts and hide my hand. Like that was my game because then you're not the head of the snake and people won't want to chop you first. Mm-hmm. And so as you saw, people were pissed at Rachel and they were confused and they're like, why would she do that? This move is so dumb. And I'm like, meanwhile,
why would she do that?
Week, the entire week, like, because at first she really wanted to target only Morgan, Mickey, and Vinny. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if they showed my conversation with the wine room before, or maybe it was her HOH before she did her noms. But I knew Morgan.
Well, of course they didn't show it, but I know which like feed clip you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about. Like I knew Morgan was going, so I'm like, I'm gonna push for Morgan to go up, but I'm gonna push for her to go up next to Riley or Catherine because then she'll stay no matter what, and I can knock out somebody in the showmance, whether it's Riley, whether it's Catherine. I don't really care at that point. I just wanted somebody gone between the two of them because 2 votes combined was going to be way too powerful in the coming weeks.
Especially as the numbers dwindle down, like that only becomes more powerful. If you had waited 1 week to get Riley out, I don't know if it would have worked.
I don't think it would have worked. No, I don't think he would have gone home. And so that was why I was like, Rachel. But she did it, and that was her move, and she could have done something else. But I definitely wanted her to do it.
And you definitely played some influence into that.
Yeah, I played some influence, and I definitely pretended like I didn't. I was like, I don't know why Rachel would put him up, girl. Like,
how just as confused as you are. All right, so jumping ahead a little bit. We are going to jump right past the White Locust. Terrible twist. Let's forget about it.
Terrible twist.
Final 8. Lauren wins the HOH. All of this stuff happens, and after Vito, it's you, it's Keanu, and it's Will on the block. And even from us at home, it felt like Keanu was going to win this blockbuster.
Yes.
So at that point, I thought you were 100% gone. I did a player ranking the week before, and I had Will at the number 1 spot because I did not see a world where anybody sat next to Will on the block and survived.
Same. And I
So
used them.
once I'm like, oh my God, it's going to be Ashley and Will on the block, most likely. Ashley's going to go home.
Yep.
How the heck do you not go home here? Please
And I
walk me through
was
this.
going home. Absolutely.
You
I was
were.
home. And I just started thinking, I remember I went to bed and I woke up and I was like, aha, I'm 100% going home. Everybody's 100% going home next to Will. Oh, wait, this is a great pitch. Ask to send him home now. Because yes, I'm on the block next to him this time, but one of you people in the house is going to be next to him the next time. And that means you're going home, right? Like, and so that was the beginning of where my pitch went. Then I started clocking that Kelly, Ava, and Lauren for sure had something. I mean, those girls were hanging out all the time. They just couldn't be more obvious that they had something.
And they did have something. You were right.
And they did, right? Yes, and they did. And so I remember being like, okay, I can use this to my advantage because Keanu is pissed at Lauren at this point for flip-flopping and putting him up. She could have put Kelly up, which is the truth. She could have easily put Kelly up. Keanu had just kept Lauren safe the week prior. He could have put her up as a backdoor option and she would have gone home because we would have voted her out next to Mickey or Vinny at that point because I had the judges. And then I also felt like Mickey was an incredible shield because everybody could not stand her by this point. Everybody wanted that girl out, personal and game level. They didn't want to be around her anymore. And so I wanted Mickey to stay that week as well. And he didn't put Lauren up, had her back, and lo and behold, she stabbed him in the back. So I was really relying on that anger inside of him. And I wanted him to see clearly Kelly and Lauren are closer than you and Lauren because Kelly could have been on the block and she wasn't on the block. So Will, we obviously know Will and Kelly are close. They're pretty close. They talk all the time in the house. Obviously, Kelly wants Will to stay. I'm like, Kelly even told me she wants Will to stay. Are you going to do what Kelly wants to do? Because clearly Kelly's in a better position than you, Keanu, because you ended up on the block and not her. And so I really tried to drive a wedge between Keanu and Kelly. And I also took information that I was getting from Vinny and Morgan and spilling it back to Keanu to try to cause Keanu and Kelly to fight because they were telling me that, oh, Kelly doesn't care if Keanu leaves. And that Kelly told Vinny and Morgan that Vinny and Morgan were Keanu's noms, which actually was the truth. But I tried to spin it with Vince and Morgan that it wasn't the truth. I'm going up. I'm on Keanu's block to try to build that bridge between them three. Although I didn't want them to actually work together, I wanted them to think that they could work with Keanu because then that's a whole nother reason for you two to keep me. Keanu's keeping me. Keanu thinks that you guys are keeping me. You guys can't flip because if you guys flip, Keanu's going to come after you now. And he's not coming after you. He's putting me up. He's putting Ava, he's putting Lauren up. And so I remember I tried to also rely on that, like try that cohesiveness. Like, okay, if you three all vote together, he's going to think you guys are all working together. Now you're not a target if he's HOH. He's a comp B, so probably win the HOH next week. And so I kind of tried to do a variety of strategies to get myself safe and make sure things weren't changing. Even when I was safe, I made sure to like lean into that to make sure that things did not flip my way. And with Keanu, it was definitely the Kelly argument. And then with Morgan and Vince, it was not only is Will going to choose Ava over you guys every single time, but you guys will always go home over Will. Always. Both of you will go home over Will. So you got to keep me because I'm someone that people don't even like that much in this house. Like Will, he's the most likable guy in this house.
Everyone loved Will.
I loved Will. Like we all loved Will. And so I really used that lovability as to why I should stay because I have a mini target on my back because I'm annoying. Like I'm so annoying, right? Like on purpose, intentionally.
Yeah.
And so that's when like my early beginning strategies really came to my saving grace towards the end of the game was that I had already built that goodwill, which was that people thought I was slightly annoying. You know, I was likable, but I wasn't too likable, not like Will. And I was also someone who, you know, yes, Will wasn't good at competitions like me. I wasn't good at competitions either. But if he's not winning competitions, that means he could be on the block. And if you don't win the competition, you'll be on the block next to him. So now you're
You
going
built so much from this one like cornerstone of, oh, how do I convince people not to vote out me next to Will? And you have so many different like flowers sprouting where it's like everyone will go home next to him. You don't want that to be you. He's
Yeah.
gonna be on the block because he doesn't win competitions. Like I think it really worked out for you because we've seen people use that exact strategy before, like you said, where Will's the most liked guy in the house. If you're sitting next to him next week, you're going to go home. But most of the time, that doesn't work. But I think it worked for you because you had that. And then you also had personal additional reasons for each person as to why they should keep you over it. And I think all of that combined was enough.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that really helped. And then with Morgan, it was also like, you're my number one, which she was at the time. She was my number one because Rachel left. So she became my number one. And it's like, Vinny, I think his number one might be Lauren. Why would you take out someone who you're their number one versus someone like Will who has the number one, Ava? Mm-hmm. And so, like I said, for each person, I try to come up with a reason why they need to keep me. And just because it only takes one person to flip. So you may be pitching staying, but at that week, it only took one person to flip. It was a 3-2 vote. If one person just decided to flip and go the other way and throw a vote, I would have gone home. So I was like, I am making sure I've dotted my T's and crossed my I's. I'm staying over everyone.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you have so many close calls where I would say every single time your way of getting out of them outside of like the week one veto is like very impressive strategic maneuvering. Like you really understood what you needed to do. And I will be the first to say, like, I was fooled by the episode edits and also because like on the live feeds, we do just see you like walking around all smiley. We would see glimpses of stuff, but without knowing the whole Elle Woods thing too. Great movie. At the time, I was like, I don't always know what Ashley's doing.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's the whole Ashleya. Like sometimes she's doing really well. Other times it's like, what is she going on about?
Yes.
But having the whole picture now, it really is a masterclass.
Thank you. And even like the Ava, which I know they didn't show because I watched like that last episode, like Ava blowing up on Vince and Morgan and doing that. Like they don't show that. I suggested 2 days prior, I suggested to her, I said, you have this information about Vince flipping the vote on Will. And you also have this information of Vinny saying he's going to take me or like whatever. Why don't you tell Morgan to try to get the veto used on you? And I remember like I planted that initial seed and they didn't even give me credit for it. But I planted that seed with Ava of being like, you should confront Morgan. I just flipped it to make her think that it was for the veto. Like, oh, you should do it because maybe Morgan. I knew Morgan was not using that veto. But I was
was almost considering it for a
bit. Really?
There was
probably
one of their 8 late night talks that week. She was really considering it. And she was even telling Vince, she wasn't saying it directly, but she was implying that there was a possibility. I'm assuming she would have used the veto on you and not Ava, but it was definitely something that had crossed her mind, which this was the most interesting endgame we've had in so long because it was so alive and up in the air all the way up until the final 30 minutes.
Yes, it genuinely. I remember I pitched that to her because I was like, I doubt Morgan will actually use the veto, but this will make it way easier for me to start the convincing of trying to convince Morgan to take me to final 2 instead of Vince. Because if that's that seed of doubt in Vince, then maybe that'll just make it so much easier for me to pitch as to why I should, be chosen over Vince to go. Because at that point, I was thinking Morgan, she had calmed down at that point. I thought she would for sure win that final HOH. And so I was like, I got to figure out how I can get to those final 2 chairs because with my competition skills, but I didn't realize it was a completely mental comp because those I'm pretty good at. I mean, that's like the first veto I won was basically completely like a mental comp. It was like patterns, memorization. So I knew that was more of my strong suit. But at that time, I was just like, who knows what it's going to be? There's already been a twist and all the comps were physical.
They were so physical in that end game. And it really felt like it was tailor-made for Keanu. And then once Keanu, like that final 4 HOH with the dice, I'm watching you and Ava like struggle. You're throwing your whole body.
It was so heavy. I wish America could feel the freaking dice. It was so heavy. I mean, you had to throw your entire body weight in order to knock it over. Like, I remember I could barely get it over, and I look over, and Morgan is already 3 steps. Like, she's already, I'm like, yeah, they did not want to see me and Ava.
They did not. I mean, they didn't write the story. I wonder if they were, because Vince was the storyteller on the episodes.
Seen that so far, just in the first 3, yeah.
And they really just put their eggs all in the Vince basket and the Morgan basket once, like, she had her endgame stuff. But, like, I wonder if they were like, okay, we've been telling the story of Vince this whole time. We just need to hope that Ashley doesn't win. And then, lo and behold, you dominate that final part of the HOH. Potentially, I haven't done, like, the research on this, but that might be the biggest gap in a final HOH, you versus Morgan. The biggest margin of winning by.
Yeah, the biggest margin of winning. Yeah, I might have been. I really don't know. I remember just being shocked. I remember I knew all the answers, so I wasn't shocked about that. But I remember thinking, well, if I know all the answers, she definitely knows all the answers.
She studied a lot.
She studied all every day. Like, I could not even compete as far as, like, if it was like a straight up memory comp, like days or something, because she was studying every single day for weeks, for multiple weeks, studying really hard. And so I remember thinking, well, if I know the answers, she knows the answers, so we're gonna go in a tiebreaker. So I'm genuinely standing there every time. It's like I already knew the answer. I started thinking about how many seconds each competition was. Genuinely, because usually tiebreakers.
Yeah, that is the tiebreakers.
So I was thinking, like, okay, how long were me and Vince competing in that part 2 HOH? Like, how long was I up on the thing for the first HOH endurance comp? So I was literally doing the math, thinking of those things in the breaks, because I thought we'd go to a tiebreaker for sure. Because I was like, I know all these answers, she's gonna know all these answers, and it's gonna be 7-7, and I'm gonna have to win off of the seconds.
I was live streaming during it, and I'm pretty sure I was, like, running around my room because I was just in such shock. I really thought that because of all of the studying Morgan did, that she was gonna at least be in tandem with you.
Yeah.
But that's not what we saw.
I know. And look, thank God, because here's the thing. Had she won that HOH and taken Vinny out, that is a huge move. Like, I don't think I could have beat her if she took me. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But had I taken her, I will say, after talking to the jury, like, it would have been a very close vote.
Because you have the move. That was so important.
Because it's me who has the move. So it's like, even if I took out Vinny, that's still a very strong player. My thing was, I knew I could win over a landslide with Vinny. So it's like, why even make a $750,000 gamble? Where it's like, I know for sure I can win. But I did think, like, people have asked me, like, how did you take Morgan? Thing is, I think it would have been a very close call with the jury, because it would have been like, oh, Ashley won that HOH. Like, Ashley took out a big threat. Like, Ashley took you, and my speeches were really great. I feel like it could have been
definitely like one of the best speeches.
Thank you. No, thank you. But I feel like that was the only world where it would have been a close vote between me and Morgan, is if I took her. I knew if she won and she took me, I knew I wasn't going to win, because at that point, do you deserve to, like, beat someone who took you to the final? Granted, I guess it's happened the past 3 years where someone won the final HOH, someone else, and then lost.
Yeah, it happens, like, a decent amount of the time. Well, not like all the time, but it definitely is, like, that was the move that needed to be made for you or Morgan. Like, Morgan, I think Morgan wins cutting either of you two.
Yes, she wins cutting me or Vince, for sure. Like, but undoubtedly. Like,
I don't know. You watched the finale, right? You saw the faces of the jurors when they learned that you won the final HOH. Like, that should show how important that was, where they were all like, Rachel was crying when that happened.
No, I know. And that was why I was so radar focused, and which is why the live feeders didn't see me in the morning. I was like, I'm sleeping in because I have to focus on this competition, because I knew if I won that competition, I could win the game. If I didn't win the competition, Morgan was winning the game. So I knew $750,000 is on the line, and Morgan deserves her flowers too, because she, especially that end half of the game, she really dominated those competitions.
She did, yeah.
She dominated the competition. So I knew if she took me, she was winning. And so I knew I had to win. There was no other choice. I had to win this final HOH. And so I focused during that competition, I remember I read every single A, B, C. I read it thoroughly to make sure there was no trick questions. I acted like that was the bar. Okay. I was like, I am locked in. And it worked out, and I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful.
Yeah, definitely like one of the most, I don't want to say fairy tale endings, but one of the greatest underdog endings where you had won one competition 2 months prior and you're going up against Vince and Morgan, who were two of the best competitors of the season.
Absolutely.
And you win 2 competitions. Really a perfect ending.
I know, wins the first and I remember I joked about that. I joked about that to Vince and other people, like production people. And I was like, wouldn't it be really funny if I won the very first competition only and then the very last? Like, wouldn't that be poetic? Because our season was very poetic. Like Keanu, every single time we thought we were getting him out, he would win. Kelly, every single time she would win. Riley goes, and then Catherine goes right after him. Like, and then Mickey goes right after that.
And
like,
then Mickey goes.
It was a very poetic season. So I was like, how funny would this be if I won the very first one and the very last? And then I did.
It was poetic and ironic in every way, where like this season with the blockbuster lasting all the way through Final 7 in the White Lotus twist and how physical everything. I know you said it on the feed. It was like the challenge. So for you to win is the perfect like slap in the face to the season, because it's like you didn't need to win 4 blockbusters to get to the end. You won your 1 veto, you won your 1 HOH when it mattered the most, and you took home the cake.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's why I'm so thankful. People obviously caught on very quick before I even announced it, but people caught on that I threw the double eviction one, the rolling balls. And I'm like, people don't realize, they're like, how I've seen comments being like, this should show why she shouldn't win because she threw a double eviction. Finally, she could win HOH. I'm like, people don't have to realize like every move you make towards that end game will be the difference of if you were in those final 2 chairs. Now, had I won, I knew my noms. They were going to be Lauren and Keanu, because I knew Lauren, I had to break up the girls, and Keanu was really just a pawn. I didn't want Keanu to go home, but that was just to save face in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But I was like, if either of them win that veto, I have to decide between Morgan, Vince, and Ava. 3 people I'm working with and 3 people who think I'm working with them. I will have to show my cards. If I put Vince up, Vince would have gone home. Then I have Morgan coming for me. I was not going to put Morgan up because that didn't make sense for my game. One, we were very, very close in the game, so I wouldn't have done that to her on a personal level. But obviously, game-wise, it wouldn't make sense to have Vinny there without Morgan. That would never make sense. Like, then Vinny is useless at that point. And Ava, she could be a vote for me in the future. Say next week I'm on the block next to Keanu.
You were close with Ava.
I was close with Ava at that point. So I'm like, this is a bad situation either way. And I would not have thrown it had Lauren or even Ava been in the lead. I wouldn't have thrown it. But when I looked to my right, I mean, I saw Lauren had like 1 or 2 balls. They both had like no balls. And then I saw Morgan was catching up. So I was like, I'm good with her.
No, that is 100% the right move to throw, which you already know. You just explained perfectly why it was good, because Keanu did win that veto and you would have had to put one of them up. And no matter which way you slice it, someone's upset with you. If you upset Morgan, because I'm guessing you would have put up Vince if I had to guess.
Vince had Lauren been the one that was close to winning the HOH, I would have won the H. Like I would have, won it, and I would have had to I would have put Vince up.
Wow.
How terrible would that have been?
Yeah, I mean, the entire end of the game is because then Morgan is in a lot of control for the next 2 rounds. So after you send him home, I don't know if you make it to the end again.
I don't. And so that's why it's like people got to realize, like, yes, you want Big Brother players to make big moves. Had I won an HOH earlier in the game, I would have totally made a big move. Like 100% would not have been afraid to do whatever it was. Like, honestly, if I won that HOH Jack the Dipper, my noms would have been the exact same as Ava's. I would have done Vince, Zach, Keanu, undoubtedly, or I would have done Vince, Zach, Kelly. One of the 2 scenarios. We have to realize at the end of the game, every single move, when the votes are only 2 to stay or 1 to stay, there are people that you have to have the relationships with that are going to have to save you. And if you screw them over, you're going home. So yeah, say I made a big move, won the HOH, I would have been gone home the legitimate next week, probably. Actually, Keanu would have won that pressure cooker HOH. But I would have gone home the next week because I don't know
Yeah.
if Morgan would have
The
beat
final
them.
four.
Yeah, the final four is when I would have gone home. And so because Morgan had the veto power.
Yeah.
So she would have been the sole vote to evict because Keanu for sure would have won the dice HOH.
Well, he would have played. Actually, I think you might survive still because Keanu wouldn't have played in the dice HOH.
You're right.
So then, as long as you survive that final 5, Morgan has to take Keanu out. And then maybe you still win there because then you would still. It would be you, Ava, and Morgan in the final.
It'd be me, Ava, Morgan. Yeah, and I would have taken Ava. You know what? Okay, I still would have won. Well, never mind. Actually, I just thought about that. But still, at the time, it's scary to like do something and make the wrong move, and then you go home and you lose out. You know, the prize isn't, you know.
It is a drastic drop off.
Yeah. You want to be in the final 2 seats.
At the final 5, had you won the veto, would you have used it to force Morgan up on the block? That was a question I had wondered. Yes. You would. Okay. I was hoping the answer was yes.
Yeah.
A lot of people were wondering if you would, because that is a bold move. But I feel like at that point, if you have the power,
I needed to build my resume. I wanted to build a resume. Like my goal in the game was to build a resume where no matter who you're sitting next to, you stay. Obviously, that didn't work out for me because I could not win the daggone competition till the very end. But to be fair, y'all, the competitions were mainly physical. Besides Tiny Veto, that's honestly it. Even the sliding puzzle thing, the puzzle pieces were like 20 pounds each. I mean, we were like gassed. They were so heavy, and you were running back. Like there was almost all physical towards the end, besides Tiny Veto. But yeah, had I won the week 5 veto, I would have had to make the big move because here's the thing. Say you win a veto at that crucial of a time and you don't use it. That's a reason for the jury to not vote for you to win at the end.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, you had the opportunity and you didn't do it. Now you're seen as a player that's not willing to make the big moves.
Absolutely. And as much as it would have hurt me to like do that, because I really did love Morgan in the game, it would have hurt me, but I would have had to do it. And she would have gone home. And guess what? I was guaranteed final 2 at that point, even if I did that, because Keanu would have brought me to final 2. Granted, I would not have won as the next Keanu, but Keanu would have brought me to final 2. Vince would have brought me to final 2, and Ava would have brought me to final 2. So that final 4, I was guaranteed to make it to 2 if Morgan left. And so I would have had to use the power.
Yeah, and you beat Vince. Ava is so close, but I think it depends on if whoever wins those last few comps, which I'm guessing would have been you.
Yeah, I love Ava, but I think I would have beat her in the comps. And I think if I brought her, I think I could win. If she brought me, no, she would win. Because she would for sure have Lauren, Kelly, Will. She only needs one more. Keanu would have probably voted for her had she won.
Yeah, had she been the one to like take him out in this scenario.
Yeah, he would have had to have voted for her. So, but yeah, at that point, yeah, I would have used it. But I'm glad I didn't win it because I'm glad I didn't have to like hurt someone like that because it would have really hurt Morgan at that point. I think it hurt a lot less being at 3 because she knew. I never promised her I was taking her. I made sure not to lie about that. I just weaseled around it. I definitely was like, I would just throw it back and be like, I mean, you're the one who's going to win the final HOH. Like, I'm not even to make a decision. Which
we don't even have to consider it if I win because it's not going to happen.
Yeah, and you know what? That wasn't a whole lie. Like, I really was thinking the chances are slim of me winning this final HOH because I'm competing against a comp beast. I mean, I got to give her flowers. She was a comp beast. She comped out. So I wasn't fully lying to her because, like, I truly did not actually think I would probably have to make the decision. What I just left out was that I already had a decision made if I had to make it.
At the final 4, I meant to talk about this, and then we like kind of
drifted away.
Yeah. How did you actually manage to convince Morgan to not take Vince?
Oh my God.
And to take you? Because that is something that I did not think was going to happen. But I saw you laying the foundation. Before the final 3. Way before.
Oh yeah. I knew coming in, once I made it to top 6, I knew I would be at top 3. So I was like, honestly, once I made it to top 7, I knew I'd be at top 3. Because at that point I had Kelly, like I said in my speech, like that was genuinely all true. Like Kelly had offered me a final 2. She thought she could beat me.
That actually was on the show, I think.
Oh, it was? Okay.
I think the Kelly, I could be wrong, but I think I just watched a clip of it in preparation of this.
Oh, oh, okay, cool. Well, yeah. So she had offered me a final 2. Lauren at that point was pissed at Vince because Vince put her on the block. So she was kind of going against that. So then she wanted to work with me as an extension of Ava. And so at that point, everybody in the house wanted to work with me or was already working with. So I knew I'd be in final 3 at least. And so I was like, I'm going to lay the groundwork now because things are more believable before your back is against the wall than when your back is against the wall. Because people say whatever.
Yes, thank you for understanding that. That is, sorry, I like geeked out for a second, but that is something that like you need to build the foundation before you're in trouble because it just looks like a desperate plea at that point.
Exactly. And so I started planting those seeds early on. And the main scenes that I started with was just Vince is such a power player. He's a master manipulator. Like he's been doing this the whole game. Like the fact he stayed all this time. Rachel, I've never even watched Rachel's season, which people know. Like Rachel, he played just like Rachel on her season. Like, and Rachel's in the jury, and somehow all the people thought Rachel would be unbiased. Now, I knew better, but they seemed to think that Rachel would be completely unbiased and, like, wasn't necessarily going to vote for me. Mm-hmm. And so I relied on that. I was like, Rachel, he plays just like Rachel in Rachel's season, because I knew Morgan hadn't seen Rachel's season because we talked about it. Yeah. And I'm like, he played just like her, like, I don't know how the jury will feel. I mean, you haven't really won many HOHs. You've really only won vetoes. Vinny is the HOH king. Nobody has even came close to Vinny in HOH. I mean, him and Lauren basically nominated most of the house. I mean, they had 6 HOHs collectively. Like, girl, I don't know what happens next to Vinny. I was like, I sure don't. I don't know if I want to sit next to Vinny. Like, yeah. And I just kind of planted those seeds. I remember we were staring at the memory wall, and she was like, "Who do you think the strongest social players are?" I made sure to say Vinny in the top 2. I wanted her to see that, like, if she cuts me and I'm a juror, this is how I'm thinking, right? Like, I'm thinking Vince is the power player. He's the social manipulator. He's won the most HOHs. He's made the most moves, nominated. He sent Keanu home, girl. Like, Keanu, the target in the house. Like, he sent Kelly home, things that nobody could do. Like, girl, like, you know, and I kind of...
You can't bring him to the end for the guaranteed win. But if you bring little old me...
I'm going to get no votes. I barely even won any competition. Listen, I know I'm playing for second place, girl. Like, I am playing for second place. I don't care. $75,000, take me home. I'm fine with that prize. Like, you know, I just really leaned in on all of that, those things. Before pivoting the pitch to being like, and this is why you shouldn't sit next to Vinny. Instead, I just dropped those seeds without being like, and that's why you shouldn't sit next to Vinny. I just dropped those seeds as seeds so that she thought they were fact. And the thing is, what I realized probably around week 6 or 7, because I had laid the foundation of being a very blunt person in the house and just saying whatever I'm thinking, which is the truth. People just took my word as the truth later on in the game. In half of the game, everything I said, I mean, I've even seen clips of people just repeating the exact things I've said, but making it seem like it was their thought. Yeah. And that just shows, like, people started taking my word as bond. Like, they just thought, because I had laid that foundation that I'm an honest, blunt person, everything I said at the second half of the game, people just thought was true. Like, they didn't really question it as much. And so I had that really working out in my favor towards the end, because as I think Taryn, you know, showed those clips of, like, I would say something and then someone would repeat it.
Someone else would say it was like a game of telephone, but you're the person that's saying everything.
Yeah, no, literally. And so, yeah, that's how I was able to stay, because and I would say things. I also purposely would say things in front of Vince as well. So that way, Vince didn't even think I was manipulating. He just thought I was just being blunt, Ashley. Yeah. He really did think that, because I remember he was in the bathtub, or not the bathtub, sorry, the hot tub. And I remember saying to him, you know, "Oh my gosh, you played such an amazing game. You should be so proud. Like, you played so similarly. Like, you're one of the greats." Like,
you're really stroking his ego
in front of Morgan. So that way it's like, oh, now I have even more validity, because I'm not trying to snake you, Morgan, because I'm saying it in front of Vince.
Yeah, I'm not saying it behind his back. I'm just saying it as it is.
Yeah. And so things like that, I think, really helped and completely flipped her mind from taking Vince to taking me.
Yeah. And that's definitely like one of those things that really, like, I'm really not trying to just, like, what's the term? Yeah, hype you up. But, like, that really is what separates, like, the good players from the great players, is, like, you didn't just have to win that final HOH. It didn't matter who won that part 3, because you were going to get to the end no matter what.
Yeah.
And I mean, couldn't say the same for Vince. Vince was going to get cut by Morgan, which is crazy.
Crazy.
Really quick, my fiance, she wanted to say something to you.
Oh, yes.
Here.
Oh my God.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, so nice to meet
Congratulations.
you.
Nice to meet you
Oh,
too.
your hair is beautiful.
Oh my God. Thank you. I had to say, your lip combo,
Stop.
phenomenal. Like every time you came on, especially the dive room, I was like, holy. That's all I had to say.
Thank you. I know I keep seeing those comments. I'm like, okay, I think I'm gonna make a video.
No, you like need to make like a lip like brand or something because it's crazy. That's all. But congratulations.
so
That's like
much.
so unreal to like win everything. You did
Oh my
amazing.
gosh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Once she found out that we were doing this, she was like, "Oh my God, can I please tell her about
that
her?"
is so
And I was like, "Of course." I think she would like that.
I love that. I love all this. That's why I was like, people were like, oh my gosh, her cameo is so low. And I'm like, guys, I'm trying to just like be a team player here. I did just
Guys, she did just win $750,000.
I'm like, but there's nothing I could do because Cameo raises the price as your demand.
Oh, is that like dynamic pricing or something?
Yeah, so it's gone up, but that's why I started slow. And I saw a tweet, they were like, Ashley's at 42. I'm like, guys, I just won $750,000. It's only right for mine to be lower.
Yeah.
Try to have fans be able to actually afford, you know what I'm saying? Like then skyrocket the price but obviously I can't control it now. It is what it is, but yeah.
But yeah, again, thank you so much for doing this. I apologize if you got flooded with notifications when I made that tweet. I did not realize the army of people that would tag you in that.
Oh my gosh, that's okay. No, that's okay. I literally get so many Twitter notifications. I actually don't even go through them really anymore.
Cool.
As much. I only see the first like 3 because they come so fast.
Yeah. That's what happens when you win.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess so. I know it's like, oh my gosh. So yeah, that's why I'm getting like a management and everything because I'm like, I can't.
That's very smart.
Up and also for like brand deals and stuff like that. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, where could people find you after this? I know you're kind of new to social media, or at least Twitter, but
yeah. People can find me on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube. My Instagram and TikTok are Ashley Hollis _, ASHLEYHOLLIS _. And then my Twitter is also Ashley Hollis, but 2 underscores. And then my YouTube. Hold on, let's see.
Yo, you got a YouTube now.
Yeah, I haven't made a video yet, but I at least started the account.
Heck yeah.
My YouTube is Ashley _Hollis. So that's where you guys can find me.
I thought I saw something. Was it like beauty or?
Yeah. So I'm definitely going to be making like beauty, luxury, lifestyle, and fashion content. But I'm also going to be doing a lot of reality TV content. So I'm definitely thinking about starting a podcast where I kind of comment on reality TV things, and like Hollywood type of things, but in the reality TV space. And also I plan on doing reaction videos on YouTube to the episodes. It seems like people really like that. So I'm probably going to live stream my reactions to the episodes and me watching them and things like that.
Love to hear that. I love to see like how much you've really just like embraced this whole experience coming out of it. And you're just jumping right in. You're like, hello, Twitter. Hello, YouTube. You're saying hi to everyone. And I really look forward to seeing what you come up with.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for having me, Ethan.
Oh, thank you. This is going to be a huge help for the video. That'll come out in like a month or so. I'm really looking forward to making it. And this has been a huge help. So thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you to everyone that listened and watched. And I will see you next time.
Perfect. Subscribe to Ethan's channel too.
Oh, thank you, Ashley.
Bye, Ethan. So nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you too. Goodbye.